We recently completed America's Great Loop, and now we're on the hunt for our next boat to take us on our next adventure. What's the adventure, you might ask? Well, it depends on where we find our next boat. We could circle the Down East Loop, a 2,400-mile loop around New England and the Canadian Maritimes. We've considered navigating the Big U, a journey from Alaska down through the Panama Canal and up to Maine. Or we could find ourselves exploring the Caribbean island chain. No matter what we end up deciding on, we know it requires an upgrade from our 1985 Marine Trader Europa that we just finished the loop on. We're searching for a trawler that can take us on multi-day ocean passages with hydraulic stabilizers, a raised pilot house, and a single engine, just to name a few. So begins our boat search, and we're taking you along for all of the tours. Another day, another boat tour, and it's a family affair today. We're gonna leave Ripley in the car while we go look at a what?
Today we're going to look at a Nordhavn 40, baby. This will be our second Nordhavn 40.
But first on the channel, because the first one was just one that we were just able to get on when we were in the Keys. And
yeah, it wasn't for sale. We just asked the owners and they let us, so.
Yeah, and that was really cool. Really excited to see it. I would 100% be grateful to, be able to own a Nordhavn 40. I do think I would rather have a 46, just something a little bit bigger. Or 43 would be ideal, but those tend to hold their value even more and are newer. So yeah, we're gonna go take you on a tour of a Nordhavn 40, which we're really excited about, and we'll let you know our thoughts afterwards.
I'm getting nostalgia because this is what we were doing when we bought Northern Attitude.
Yeah.
Driving around, looking at boats.
Yep, and today we're driving up to Fort Pierce, which again, it's just the beauty of being in Florida for boat shopping. This is one of the reasons we were able to do the loop, is because it was affordable for us to boat shop in a sense. Like, we didn't have to buy flights to go look at boats. There was such an inventory in this area. So we're really grateful for that.
Yeah.
Here we go.
As we made our way to the dock to see Aegis, a 2000 Nordhavn 40, we were mostly eager to feel out the overall size and condition of the vessel, considering we had just recently viewed a 1992 Nordhavn 46. At a listing price of $349,000, it's safe to say that we were completely dazzled by the way this boat has diligently been taken care of. As you head into the salon area, you feel like you could possibly be on a brand new boat. The floors were replaced at one point and in incredible condition. With no full walk around on the exterior, it makes for a larger living space, and Evan's eyes were immediately drawn to the recliner type chair. If you know, you know. The galley contains a pull-out fridge, which of course thrilled me, and the stove was sparkling as if it was also brand new. There's an additional pull-out freezer as you head up to the pilot house, which I appreciate being completely separate from the fridge, allowing for more perishable item space. The pilot house is equipped with updated electronics, which Evan will touch on in a little bit. For us personally, one of the only downsides of this vessel is the fact that there is no hydraulic stabilization, only passive parabanes, although those have been upgraded to a completely stainless steel setup. One of the impressive features on a Nordhavn 40 is the fact that they built them with a Portuguese bridge, something you rarely see on vessels of this size. As we make our way back inside and down to the cabins, you'll notice only one head instead of two like the Nordhavn 46 that we recently toured. The main cabin is forward, while the guest cabins sit midship with bunks for guests. The bottom bunk does slide out though to make for a larger bed. This is also where the combo washer-dryer is located. When we bought Northern Attitude for our Great Loop, the engine room was one of the main things that sold Evan on that boat, and the same could be said here. The walk-in engine room is in pristine condition, with enough room to do any maintenance on the lugger engine. However, Aegis was built without a wing engine based on the original owner's preference. There is a spot though where a get-home engine could be added, so that's less of a concern for us than the lack of hydraulic stabilizers. Keep watching as we sit down and discuss some additional details and our thoughts on this beautiful boat.
I'm excited to be back sitting in front of the camera because we get to discuss our thoughts on a Nordhavn 40.
Yeah.
We've been doing a few boat tours. That's the next chapter in Carly and I's boat adventure is to boat shop. So
If you haven't seen those, go back. We looked at a Celine Solo 43 and a Nordhavn 46. And a lot of the debate for us has been what is the right size of our next boat. And a Nordhavn 46 and a Nordhavn 40 have really been a conversation. So obviously we just saw a Nordhavn 40 and short answer, we loved this one.
this boat was probably the best kept boat we've been on.
For its age, yeah.
Well, really in general, in my thoughts, obviously they probably got up and cleaned it that morning, which was very nice of them, but every little piece, we both got off and were like, that is somebody you'd want to buy a boat from.
Yeah, there were a lot of things about it that both of us loved.
So first, the specifics.
Yeah.
The Nordhavn 40, I have my phone here just to pull up the listing. Hull number 14, so it's early on. It was actually an American-made boat. The biggest way you can tell that in the Nordhavn 40s is the rub rail. They use a black, like, plastic polymer material instead of a stainless steel rub rail. And people have good reviews about them. They're just bomb-proof, they are rugged, easy to clean. So that is first off, hull number 14.
We noticed and talked to him about, yeah.
They started making them in China. Length overall, 40 foot. The length at the water line is 35. So when we're talking about the 46 versus the 40, obviously in the name and the model, it sounds like 6 feet. That's huge. Like, that's a pretty big difference. And it is. You get a second head
In the 46.
in the 46. But in terms of ride, the length at the water line is not entirely as big of a difference.
Which is what people have told us as well.
Which I think you really got to go for sea trials in them to know how they perform. But the 40 is known to kind of pitch up and down because of the shorter water line versus a longer boat. Obviously, the roll side to side is probably pretty comparable.
With that, we're going to say many great things about this boat. But the one thing that it didn't have that's a little bit more of a deal breaker for us was hydraulic stabilization. It only had the passive paravanes. And the owner said he loves them and they've worked very well for him. But for us, it's like fiberglass fuel tanks and hydraulic stabilization are probably our top 2 priorities on the next boat.
Right.
So.
And, you know, I think in a perfect boat, you have both, in my opinion, because you have the really cool looks of the paravanes when they're up, but they're all mechanical.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about a seal leaking or anything getting caught down there and, you know, having to jump in or whatever. And they actually just recently upgraded these paravanes.
Yeah.
They're all stainless steel chain, and the actual fish, I guess you could say, that go in the water are stainless steel. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it looks really great.
All new Dyneema line, anti-chafing protection, like they did it up really nicely.
Right.
And they've gone around the whole Big U on this boat with just paravanes. So it's certainly a capable boat. There's something nice about the ability to push a button also and have the hydraulic stabilization without having to deploy and needing, you know, the extra space and everything else.
And in our situation, we're not really interested in adding hydraulic stabilization to a boat. That's just not a project we're willing to take on, financially can take on after the purchase of a boat. So we really would like a boat that already has it.
Even if we bought a boat, it's, you know, budget 50 grand to put stabilizers in. Then you get into conversations of electric versus hydraulic. If it never was built with them in the first place, does the structure need to be reinforced? You know, the actual grid of the boat, the stringers. And most of the newer ones that are going electric, you run a generator all the time. So yeah, I like to probably just have stabilizers on the boat already. It does have the same lugger engine. This boat had like 8,000 hours. It's not really concerning for us at all. In terms of hours. The electronics on this boat, being that it's a 2000, absolutely incredible. He is running a 12 volt main computer with time 0. And Time Zero is pretty much top of the line.
Yeah, one of the best.
Softwares that you have Aquamaps and Avionics, but Time Zero is like this upper level. Even a lot of commercial boats use it. So they were running it. They had a lot of the updated Furuno screens. And yeah, I think the Pilot House is just as great as the 46, but what you miss out on the 40 is the walk around.
Right. Let's talk about that. So on our current boat, Northern Attitude, walk around on both sides. On a Nordhavn 46, you get walk around on one side. And that was
On the starboard side.
On the starboard side.
The Nordhavn's trying to do on the 40 is maximize your interior space.
Right.
If we put some pictures up for you guys to see, they have a chair, and I'd love to have some sort of recliner in the next boat. And it works out great because you have that extra beam.
Yeah, so that's another debate of the next boat we purchase is our home. And we've talked about having kids on this next boat. But if we were to get a Nordhavn 40, not having a walk around is a point of concern if you're talking about children. Also our dog, Ripley runs around.
But one thing I think gets lost in the conversation about a walk around is, for instance, in the loop, we did a ton of locks. The walk around was awesome.
Yeah.
This next boat, we'll do a few locks, but safety is always the biggest one. Like, well, don't you want walk around for safety? Like if somebody goes overboard or whatever. And my question back to them is, where do most folks get on the boat? If you were to fall in, our parents, somebody, and you don't have the walk around, everybody gets on the boat on the stern. And the swim platform is the ladder. So regardless if you have a walk around or not, you're still getting on the boat in the stern.
Yeah.
So, you still get the back half and you still get the front bow. You just miss out on this middle section of
And that
walk around.
wouldn't be a deal breaker for us. It's just something we talk about.
Yeah.
So.
Little details of to live with or not.
But if you're living on the boat full time, that makes the inside bigger, which is nice.
Yeah.
So.
I liked this boat's anchor setup. You could tell they anchored a lot. And that goes for the off-grid systems and the actual anchor tackle, ground tackle. They had a huge anchor on this thing. It was 120 pounds.
It was very large.
We're thinking our next boat, especially if we get it up in the Pacific Northwest, you need 300 or 400 feet of chain.
Yeah.
Northern Attitude had 100 feet of chain.
Right.
So
Big difference.
big difference in the depths you anchor in. So
The forward V-berth main cabin doesn't bother us as much as, sometimes we talk about really, really wanting a midship boat. The forward cabin doesn't bother us too much.
It's great headroom in the 40 and well lit, well ventilated. Actually, in this listing, Aegis redid the walls of the V-berth, so like the actual hull sides usually wood in a lot of the 40s.
Yeah.
Like that tongue and groove look. They had replaced it with white, and they kept the good one behind it.
I was going to say, they didn't replace it, they just covered
Yeah.
it. So whoever, owns the boat next can remove it and have the wood exposed if they would like, or leave
Yeah,
that
and I
white
thought
there.
that made it look, because we've been in others that don't have that, and white really made it open up and just feel larger than it actually was. Teak is beautiful. There's a lot of teak in the wood, or in the boat itself. That was a good touch.
Yeah,
for sure.
that was nice. You want to talk about the engine room at all?
Yeah, so the engine room on the 40 is great. You still have a door. You don't have to access it through the floor. Very similar, if not better than the 46 we got on. Previously, because it's only a single screw engine. This boat, again, relating back to the single versus twin, only had a single, and it did not have the wing get home engine.
Right.
So when this boat was spec'd and built at the factory, the very first owner opted not to have it installed for whatever reason, but it's still there. And it's still, the mold itself still has the mounts for where the engine would sit. So for now, it's just covered with a piece of like Kusa board, and then it was a workbench. So he had a vise on it and all his tools, and it was really cool, but simple for us if we ever wanted to add it. You already have this structure there,
Right.
And where a shaft would go through. But that's also a cool opportunity to maybe not do a separate shaft, just some sort of like coupling system, whether that's hydraulic or
See, and that's not as
gear.
concerning to us, like putting that in versus adding hydraulic stabilization.
Right. Yeah.
So,
It was a really beautiful boat.
yes, we both walked away.
If it was on the West Coast, we might be way more tempted to put an offer in.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because I think it was a great price point. And yeah, if it was on the West Coast, I would be willing to overlook the hydraulic stabilization a little bit.
Yeah. Just really impeccable
Yeah.
for its age. I mean, it's a 26-year-old boat.
So well taken care of. Yeah.
It's listed for $350, I think. And I think boat shopping, you get a gut instinct when you get on boats
Yeah.
and you talk to the owners. I hope that whatever boat we end up with, we get to meet the owners. I think that's a really important aspect, which some folks might not agree with. There's so much knowledge there.
Yeah. Well, and you get
to
a
share.
better feel for how the boat was taken care of, too.
Yeah. One fun part that was on the boat is it has a dive compressor system.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Lazarette, we got back in there and I was pointing and asking some questions, has an onboard compressor. So
Yeah, so Aegis is not necessarily out of the picture for us. We loved the boat, but, you know, we're continuing to look. This summer, we are posting videos every other Sunday. Summer is just downtime. People aren't really watching so much, and we're kind of in transition in life, so we'll be posting every other Sunday.
in the meantime, thanks for watching. We're sitting here in Minnesota,
Yes.
so hopefully you're enjoying your first summer months.
Yep.
And we love you.
Bye.